and gentlemen, welcome back. Glad you made it. It's a social production. We're doing it on October the 30th, 2024. End of the month. Welcome back. If you're tuning in anywhere from Canada, walk one. Down south in the United States, further down south, Mexico, over there in South America, over there in Europe, Asia, Africa, Antarctica, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, Australia, Senegal, Portugal, France, vive la France, all over the place. Wherever you're tuning in from, if it's your first time, buckle up, buckle on. Where can you find these videos? On Instagram. Follow me there. Subscribe on the YouTube channel if you'd like to watch the full-length videos. And check out patreon.com/RobSandro if you'd like to physically, financially support the show. Welcome back. If you've been with me from the get-go, sending all the love right back to you. But we're going to get right into it today because let's just cut to the chase. Let's just get into the program. And it is, man, oh man, let me just get a sip of this coffee right here. And we shall get right into it because I tell you, I've had a busy day. Busy week, busy month, busy life, but that's what it is. Of course, today we're here to disclose some information. We're gonna go knee deep in some territories that have never been tracked before, that have never been the paths that have never been taken. We're gonna take it all over the place, and we're gonna have a little bit of fun together. But it's all about being honest, and it's all about being transparent. That's all about letting people know that, hey, you too can do whatever it is that you do. For example, I'll give you, let's just get into it, shall we? Because I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm just gonna keep a $150 right here. I had a lot on my plate, and it's part of the job. It's part of the gig. It's part of life. It's a lifestyle at this point. What is it that I want to talk to you guys and gals about today, specifically? It's a little bit difficult, but we're going to get into it just because I feel like it's important to speak about what it is that I do as a professional, as a man, whiz. How do we even get into? I'll just be out because this is just between you and I. This is just between you and I. Nowhere else. This is just a tight-knit circle. The syndicate is just coming together, having a little bit of rendezvous, a little bit of just where we are, what are we doing? I'll say this, what I do is no different than what you guys and gals do out there. What I do is no different than what you guys and gals do out there. We're all in it together. Everybody's doing the same thing, more or less. Yes, is my job a little bit different than most? Is it? Yes. Here's what it is. I'll just you know what? I'll just say it. I don't even like tooting my own horn, but it's what it is. Am I the most sought after contract killer out there? Yes. Am I, again, the most sought after contract killer out? Yes. How did I? Man. We'll get into it just because I feel like, again, it's just best being honest and transparent about what it is that we do. How did I get into it? I'll tell you what, it wasn't something that I planned on getting into. It wasn't something that I dreamt about. It wasn't something like, oh, everybody, you grow up having dreams and aspirations. Oh, I want to be a rocket man. I want to be the laser guy. I want to be the guy that, wrangles sharks. I want to be the guy that, has a wrestling team filled with midgets and older women with saggy tits. I want to be that guy. I want to be the saggy titted wrestler, 95-year-old saggy titted wrestler. I want to put him in the titty twister, make him shout. And everybody has different aspirations. I want to be a sportsman. I want to be a sportswoman. I want to be a news anchor. I want to be a teleprompter. I just want to be a lamp. I just want to be a little bit I just want to show up to dark corners of the hood, if you will, and just shine a little bit of light. So when people are walking in the evening, there's a little bit of a spotlight so they know not to step in a puddle or to step over a body or to, watch out for that. Oh, needles, condoms packed with jizz, step over it. I just like to be a shining light. Some might say that. So we all have different dreams and aspirations, but of course, life throws you a million curveballs, and sometimes you get into things and you don't even know. That's the thing. You just got to open up your heart and know what you're good at. And sometimes we don't even know until we get into it. But how did let's just take it back to did I come out the womb, doing contract killings? Of course, yes. There was some sort, but there were questions in the early stages of development. There were questions because I did come out I came out my mother's womb, and did I hear the doctor beefing with another doctor because they were competing to see who can deliver the most babies, and it was neck and neck. It was really close. But then the guy who delivered me, I heard he had beef with the other doctor, and I'm like, yo, wah, 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 which was baby talk for if you want it taken care of, Holmes, just snap your fingers and let it be known and it'll be taken care of. That was the first one. Now, did I, a lot has gone, a lot has gone on since then. Did I catch myself in a lot of circumstances where yes, of course. There were people who came up and said, hey, we have a little bit of a problem. But at that time, we're taking it back in the early days, because when you first start, you don't even know what you're doing. You don't even know what you're doing. But little by little, I did find that I've got a knack for this. Little by little, and I take care of business. And I got my own morals and my own ethics. In this line of business, it's very difficult you got to be, what's good, what's bad, what is morally ethical. Do you even have any moral standards? Do you have a code? Do you abide by any, or is it just like, am I gonna sit here and tell you that it was like this from the get? No, of course you develop habits, you learn from your mistakes, but you learn and you grow and you get better at it. But that's the thing. I will do, I start off, if people are wondering, for some folks who are wondering, how do I even get started in this line of work? Because everybody, you want to be a hitman, you want to be that gunslinger, you want to be that hired gun, you want to be that, you want to be the Terminator, you want to be the Iceman, homie, first and foremost, I got to say, this is not the type of job that's just advertised out there in the real. It's not something you'll find just like, it's not a regular 9 to 5. It's not a regular, like, you won't see this posted on the, on the town hall, the billboard for like, there's a gathering, it's a potluck lunch for the you won't see it on that stand. You won't see it advertised in your local newspaper. You won't see it advertised on your telly. You won't even hear about it on where you might hear from it is underground, is on the streets, is on the, it's a little bit of a, it's not easy to find jobs like this. But once you do find it, all you need is a little bit of just somebody to open the door for you and say, hey, you know what? Can you handle it? Can you do it? And you got to be fine with a few things. And I got to tell you, like, this is now, many years have passed, but in the beginning, did I have the stomach that I have now for that? No, of course not. In the beginning, because you start off with freelancing, essentially that's what it is. You freelance as a contract killer. Just little small jobs, little small odd jobs here and there. For example, you could have a fella who runs a frozen yogurt shop. Beautiful. It's like Baskin Robbins, but more flavors, and they're mom and pop. Next thing you know, they're doing great. 5-10 years into the biz, they're now starting to see some results, some surpluses coming in. That's good. It's good. They're putting the kids through college. It's great. Helping out family members who may have caught some diseases and whatnot. They've got a grandma who's beating cancer like 3 times. They're helping out there. But next thing you know, somebody decides to drive up down the street and open up a similar business right next door, another frozen yogurt shop right next door. And it's like, hey fella, you go and have a little chat with them. Hey, what's with the other frozen yogurt spot? Don't you see we already got one in this? So why don't you go down the street a few blocks and open up your shop there? And next thing you know, it's just, it's a free country. I'll do whatever I want. I'll open up my frozen yogurt wherever I want. And next thing you know, phone calls need to be made. Questions need to be asked. People need to, it's word of mouth, really. Do you know somebody who knows somebody that can handle the biz? I need somebody to be, willing to go out there and just eliminate a little bit of a sitch that has occurred. And that's when I come in. And was that my first job? Maybe no, we're not. And this is the thing, I'm not going to say anything to, put myself in, I'm not going to be, I'm way more professional than I was way back in the day. I'll tell you what, because you learn from your mistakes, you learn from your peers, you learn from your elders, and you learn from the young blood too, because the young blood out there just just making a scene, just being all sorts of, this is a business where, you got to be careful. You got to be very careful. You're on your own. It's a lone wolf, mentality. It's some do work in packs. There's packs of wolves. Some say it's a lone wolf, but you could also do it in pack of wolves if you like. But it's not easy. It's not easy. I'll tell you. If you think it's just I'll just do a drive-by, I'll just lower myself through the ceiling fan, I will just crawl through the ventilation system, I will just go into the local sewer system and just hang out with the rats and the fecal matter for 7 days and stake out a prospect, and then come out of the toilet bowl when they're least expect, grab their nuts and put that. Could all be, yes, it could all be done. Have I done some of that myself? Absolutely, of course. But you got to work up the stomach for these sort of, because that's the thing. You do the job, you do the hit. The next thing you know, if you're not used to it, which most people aren't, I wasn't either. Yes, did I have a natural inclination to, yes, of course, we're all talented and gifted in different ways, but did I throw up a whole bunch of times? Did I projectile vomit everywhere? Yes, absolutely. Sometimes it happened while I was actually doing the deed, which was, I kind of felt bad, because and you gotta remember, this is nothing personal. At the end of the day, there's nothing personal about what I do. It's purely business. It's just like your job. It's no different than any other work. It's a profession. It's a vocation. It's a calling. Call it whatever you like. But at the end, it pays the bills. It pays the bills, and that's what I wanted to do. And I'm like, I'm good at it. Why? And there's a service. I'm just providing a service. Okay, there's a vacuum, if you will, that nobody likes to talk about. People need certain people take, and that's where I come in. I fill in the void. All right, nobody likes to talk about it. I get it, but that's what I do. So yes, have I thrown up in people's faces while in the beginning? I'll even tell you what, in the early stages, I would. Because your boy's got a soft spot. Your boy's got, my heart will melt. You start telling me your life story, I got 2 ears and 2 eyes, and I will listen and I'll hear you. And we might even have a few drinks. We might even smoke a joint right before we do this. But at the end of the day, when the task needs to be taken care of, I do got to take care of it, homie. So that's where I draw the line. Because sometimes in the early stages, I did get a little bit, that's the thing, you learn not to call them by their names. Do not call them by their names. Because that man, this one time, called somebody by their name, started getting attached. Next thing you know, bonds are being formed. Next thing you know, we're regularly hanging out now. I'm not gonna go name names, but we're now regularly hanging out. And that's not good, because you draw somebody close to you, open up your heart, they open up their heart. Next thing you know, you're looking as a human, which is great for everything else. But again, when it comes down to business, and again, this is purely work. Please don't be like, I hear all sorts of judgment. I hear all sorts of looks. I see all the raised eyebrows. But you need it taken care of, and I'm there, again, to fill a void. All right? So yeah, did I formulate a couple of bonds with some people? Yes. Did I happen to have to, drive certain people across the borders here and there did they promise to keep a secret? Did they say that they're going to go and disappear? Yes, they did. Did I trust in the beginning, in the early days? Did I build that trust? And I'm like, you know what? Human to human. Because again, at the end of the day, if the problem is solved, if the problem is gone, nowhere to be seen, out of mind, out of sight, no one's the wiser is what I thought. Again, being early these are the early days. Did I drop people off, give them a little bit of cash? Did I help them start a new identity? Yes, of course. Did they think that it's all fun and games, that they could just maybe come back and visit? Yes, they did, because people are mad. Some people, you learn. You cannot rely on everybody, and that's the thing. So yes, did I have to go back and, throw up in their face again? And this time it was much worse, because now you got the bond, now you got the friendship, and now you're gonna be like, well, I gave you a choice, you could have just stayed. But no, people don't want to listen. It gets crazy. So yes, did I end up, getting rid of a few people that I initially didn't want to get rid of? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I said, you know what? The money's good. People like my job. People like the services that I provide. There seems to be a demand. And it's all about supply and demand. There's always demand. And I'm like, I'm not gonna deprive myself and the people, because at the end of the day, I'm just like everybody else. I'm like, you know what, if there's a task that needs to be done, where can I be of service? Where can I be of assistance? Where can I go and help? And that's what I do. So yeah, initially, that's what I learned. Mistake number one, lessons learned early stages. Do not call them by their names. Nicknames are fine. Do not call them by their names. Do not build bonds and friends. They're not your friends. Mistakes, they are not your friends. These are just jobs, numbers. Give them a number, that's fine. No names. Always keep it professional. But that's, you learn, and that's, you know, and I'll tell you again, it's, how do you even go about doing it? I'll tell you. We're gonna lay it all on the table today, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna lay it all on the table today. It's just between you and I. So I know that this information is not gonna get out there. I know that this is a safe space for all of us. And feel free to leave a comment. If you too are a contract killer out there, feel free to leave a comment, because once again, this is a safe space. It's not going anywhere, just between you and I. Just between the syndicate. If you too happen to have a side gig, you're just wondering how to get started, this is how you do it. This is what I'm telling you. Build up a good stomach. I would recommend you expose yourself to situations where it would make you want to throw up, but then like really stop yourself from throwing up, regurgitate, eat your food, and then watch something disgusting, throw up a little bit, but then swallow, close your mouth, whatever you do, because it gets messy. You don't want to be like leaving DNA all over the place, and like you don't want to be like, oh, I'm gonna have a burger, I'm gonna have some fried chicken from KFC or Wendy's or McDonald's or whatever. I'm gonna get some, because people they'll CSI that shit and be like, let's check out all the, is that a McFlurry? Let's check out how many people have in the location had McFlurries in the past 24 hours. Next thing you know, it's being tracked, and they got your ass now because you couldn't hold it in. So expose yourself to scenarios where you might want to be throwing up, and then force yourself to not throw up. For example, walking on your parents banging, watch your dad's nutsack hit the bottom of your mother's taint, just back and forth, and initially you'll want to throw up, and initially they'll look at you and they'll say, what are you doing in here? Your dad will be a little bit, but then explain to dad, I need to see something that makes me want to throw up, and then I gotta like swallow it back down so I don't throw up. It's work related. Your boy's out there trying to go get it, and dad and mom will be supportive, hopefully. And as the nutsack is just hitting your mom's taint, it's just going back, and they'll be like, all right, well, just be quiet then, because you're kind of being a buzzkill here. You don't want to kill the buzz, because the Lord knows, dads and erections, that's a whole thing. They take pills, they work a lot for it, so don't ruin the scene. Just get in the walking on your grandma, shaving her pubes, and ask why. Throw up a little bit, like catch you. Why, grandma, are you shaving your? And she'll ask, why are you watching me shave my pubes? And go ahead and explain to her that you're just business work related. I gotta watch something that makes me a little bit uncomfortable, so that I could actually go out there and do the things that are really uncomfortable. Do those things. Walk into a public bathroom. Find a fellow or a lady, depending on your sex, gender, who's not closed the bathroom door all the way properly, kind of like, leaving it a little bit open. As they're taking a dump, walk in there and sit down and just watch them take a dump. That'll make you gag a little bit. Eventually you'd want to throw up, but don't push it back down. Should they ask, why are you here? Say it's business related. I'm trying to, get the guts to work properly. I'm trying to not throw up on a job. It's professional. This is not anything, I'm just trying to build up a little bit of a gag reflex, if you will. So do that. People will be understanding. You'll be so surprised as to how supportive people will be once you let them know sort of kind of what you're about to do. And it's just, if you say work business, at the end of the day, I've noticed people like productivity. If people see you being busy and it's work related, you could do anything work related. So get in there, just let them know it's work related. I'm sorry, sister. Say that as she's just unloading, a little bit of blood clot with poop, gag a little bit, but then throw it back down, because you don't want to be taking that to the workforce. You don't want to be taking that where you need to be professional. You need to be able to keep it down. So these are just like some of the basics of the things that I've learned. And again, if you've learned similar things, leave a comment. Again, this is a safe space. I want everybody to just, this is the gathering of the contract killers. Do I happen to be the most sought after one in the world? Absolutely. Yes, 100%. You want numbers? You want a body count? It's up there. I'm not even gonna try to put a number, but it is way beyond whatever you're thinking. Whatever you're thinking, it's way more than that. Whatever you're thinking right now, you're like, what is it, more than 5? That's puss shit, all right? More than 100 you're asking? Once again, puss shit, okay? More than 1,000 you're at, I will not be pushed in a, I'm not gonna tell you the number, all right? Chill. More than 1,000? Puss shit. More than 10,000 you're asking. You're asking questions that are, I'm not here to, was it more than 100,000? I'm not here to say it is or it isn't, but it is, keep going is what I'm gonna say, all right? 500,000. Puss shit. We're talking about numero uno. Numero uno. Let that sink in. I'm not some guy who'll advertise on the, you go at your local bus stop and you'll see a bench with people's face. I'm not that dude. You're not gonna see my face on a bus stop, all right? This shit is way more, it's up there. We're talking well beyond 1 million. Well beyond 1 million, easy. Numero uno, and it doesn't come just like that, all right? It takes dedication. It takes getting up early in the morning. It takes willing to get your hands dirty. Yes. So don't be just like, oh, how do I get into this? Like, again, start with freelancing. Look for local people who have local problems, grassroots efforts. If you can solve local problems, later down the line, you can start hopping and skipping over to other jurisdictions. Later on, then you can develop a global business. But this is not something you just want to be all willy-nilly just walking in. You gotta keep it professional. So that's the number one thing, or top 5, one of the top 5 things I'll say to beginners out there. How do you do it? How do you, there's some jobs that need to be quick in and out. There's some jobs that you need to just be in there quick in and out. Some of you get a phone call and I'm up. I don't sleep. Because again, time is money, money is time. Business for us is a booming. Problems, plenty to take care of. I get a phone call 3 in the morning. I'm not sleeping, fam. I'm not sleeping. I take a 5-minute nap during the day, and that's all I need. A 5-minute nap, that's all I need. It's just about how you work your system, how you work your body. I eat about 2 to 5 meals a day and I take a 5-minute nap, because the rest of the time I'm out there. When I'm not working, I'm working. Let me reiterate that. When I'm not working, I'm working. 85% of this job to 95% of it is you being prepared for when the opportunity comes up. It's not about what you're doing right now. It's not about if you are elbow deep just shanking a fellow right now, watching and listening. And you just started, fam. Again, we're talking about the number 1 in the world. Okay, we're talking about the greatest contract killer out there. Right? If you're just elbow deep in a fella's rib cage right now and you think you're busy, think about the times where you're not actually engaging in the, because that's the time and that's the thing. So if I get a phone call at 3 a.m., hey, you gotta be downtown. Hey, you gotta be at the docks. Show up. Somebody needs to take a trip. And I'll say less. Because I've made that mistake where initially I didn't know, because I get a lot of phone calls. I say more, and they end up explaining everything over the phone. And you don't want these things getting out over because the phones are, oh man, they're listening. You don't want to be talking about I've got a problem. Can you take care of it? I'm asking you, what kind of problem is it? Is it a rash? Is it burning when you take a leak? Have you tried antibiotics? Have you seen a doctor? And they're like, no, it's not that kind of problem, but yes, I do have that. Some people have admitted to having that as well, which to that I say, hey, That just makes, you a well-experienced person, a person who's been around the block and back and forth around the block, and maybe has taken a couple of trips around other blocks and is just going around blocks. Just the person who likes to go around the block and catch a couple of life experiences, couple of badges, couple of stripes, if you will. So that's aside the point. Do I give them advice on how to, take care of their little STI or STD? Yes, of course, because I'm that kind of, again, I do care. This is not just, again, people judge. People easily can just be like, yeah, he's the most sought after contract. He must have a heart of ice. And yes, when it comes down to the business, I do. When it comes down, because I can compartmentalize, man. I have relationships out, because again, 85 to 95% of this is all about what you're doing when you're not working, which means you're working. So I'm up at 3, I get a phone call, need you downtown, need you by the docks. I'm there. Most people, I've had people, one of the rookie mistakes in this business is people think that they think that this is a 9 to 5. They think that this is just like, oh, I'm gonna clock in, I only do contract killings between 9 to, I don't do evening because I got a wife and a kid. I gotta go see my nephew. You can have all that. You can have all that. But this is not a 9 to 5. This is not the type of job that is clock in and clock out. The biggest thing, the number one thing you could do to stand out, to help yourself elevate your game, is simply by showing up and being available. I have seen so many people who had a lot of potential, not willing to just simply say, I'm available, not being able to say that I will show up. Should it be 3:37 in the morning? Should it be 4 o'clock when everybody's still in bed? Erect, hard rock. They rock hard, and they hard rock too. But rock hard, erect clitorises, erect cocks, erect nips, erect, tense, pitched. I'm out there. All right, so that's what differentiates regular contract kill from the professionals and the ones who attain the numero 1. Do I have plaques? Do I have little? Yes. Do they give awards? Yes, absolutely. Is it a little bit low key? Absolutely. Is it more of like it's just a kind of like a handshake and a pat on the back, but it's not something to, this is not about, if you want to be showboating, if you want to be, gloating, if you want to be out there like showing off to, because people get with status, with jobs and they make small, what do you do, and then what do you do, and then and you start like, and all of a sudden you're, oh, my friend's an architect, oh, my other friend's a chef, and you think you're going to be Mr. Big Guy walking in there, say, oh, I do contract killing. And the business, sayonara, shut it down, it's over, because now you just ratted yourself out, fam. You just ratted yourself out. That's one of the biggest things I gotta say. Be available. Do not limit yourself to a time. I don't take days off. I'll say it like, because I've set myself a long time. I've given myself many a decades. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna work many a decades, do what I'm good at, do what I'm best at. And then at the end of the day, when it's time, and I don't even think about retiring ever, to be honest with you. I will be, because that's the wrong mind. If you're doing this for I'm gonna just do it once. I'm gonna just do it. If I could just do it once, keep it. What if I do it overseas? If nobody's gonna find out. That kind of shit is messy. It's amateur. That's the type of shit that'll get you murked. All right. So keep it professional, and remember, this is not for the faint of heart. Let me get a sip of this. It gets me excited. I love talking about what I do. What are the tools that you should be using? I'll say, if again, you're starting out, you're like, what kind of tools should I be using? What are you good at? Some people are good with working with their hands. Some people are good with their feet. Some people, and again, this is just bodily equipment that we're talking. We're not even talking about external things that you could use. Some people, when I started, I didn't even use any equipment. I was a hands guy. I was straight up hands guy. When you see these hands, coming at you like this, it's over. It's game over. Coming at you like this, game over. Just show the hands, game over. It's done. I was the hands man right there. Hand job after hand job, hand job after hand job. Just milking the teats of my own labor. Just just milking it, just hand job after hand, just working. We're using my hands because that's what I was good at. That's what I was given with, and that's what I worked with. All right, you deal with the cards that you're dealt with, and you go with your own. Everybody has their own gifts. Some people, I've seen people who are extremely good at their with their feet. I have seen many of people. 1977, the most beautiful stomp, the most beautiful curbing of my. I have never to this day, he's long gone now, rest his soul, of course, but nonetheless, the way he backed up and just right there with the just curbing, it was beautiful. Just because again, I'm sort of I don't like to, some things are just when they're done from the heart, when it's just pure, you see it and you're like, my God, it's like, it couldn't have, you do see kind of some sort of like, it's driven by something more. It's a little bit magical. I'm not gonna, it's divine, to be honest with you. You're like, how? The angles, the splatter of the blood. Sometimes, that's the thing too, lack thereof splatter of blood, if that's what you want to, because some beatings, some killings, you want to keep it all like internal bleeding only. Some people don't want, but I'm telling you, you got to see what you're good. I have seen people just like wrap a body just using their feet. I have seen people who would, ear guys, I've seen ear gals, I've seen people who would take out targets with just their ear, just getting that ear. They got that sharp, hard ear, just lean it, right there, just ear that motherfucker, just ear. I've seen people who are good with their elbows, sharp elbows, pointy elbows. I've seen it. I've seen the best. I've rolled with the best. I've seen people who use nipples only, nipple slicers only. You walk by, you're not even just this guy walking in. It's a rainy day, you're wearing a raincoat, he's wearing a raincoat, open raincoat, slice him with a nip right there, gone. What happened there? You just got shanked with a nipple. I've seen it with my own eyes. It's crazy, but you got to ask yourself, what am I good at? What are my gifts? What are my talents? What can I build on naturally? And you got to go. Some people like external tools. We're talking, heavy duty machine guns. We're talking Uzis right there. Some people like little pistols. Some people like knives. Some people like forks. I've seen spoon killings. Man, I've seen people just, take just rolls of toilet paper, just chuck it at a target, enough rolls of toilet paper to the neck, just catch them right there with the nerves connecting to the old brain, and it's game over. It's night night. I'm talking rolls of toilet paper, fam. All right, so you got to know what you want to be working with. The more equipment, of course, you carry with you, the harder it is to get away. A lot of times people are like, how do I carry all this equipment? Again, amateur hour, I've seen people bring way too much equipment. Machine gun after machine gun, knives, ninja stars, smoke bombs, nets, friggin' night vision, day vision, NyQuil. I've seen people bring eye drops because I gotta have clear eyes before I gotta have a clear heart and a clear eyes before I'm able to do this. It's like too much. You're doing too much. Next thing you know, because after you finish the job, doing the job is easy. Getting away is the most important thing, because anybody can just do the job. It's getting away that'll keep you in this game, which can end at any second. So do not think that you can just go do a job and just take your time. Now I'm gonna casually, because Hollywood will do this in movies. You've seen it in entertainment where the guy or the gal who's out there doing these contract killings will take his sweet ass time doing the setup, and then before they leave, they gotta pack everything up, make sure there's not any equipment left behind, because again, they do that CSI shit. Next thing you know, there's hair follicles, there's ammunition left behind, there's gunpowder left behind, there's a whole bunch of dynamite that you just like fondled with your greasy fingers because you were having cheeseburgers the night before and you forgot to wash up, and you maybe have jerked off before the task just to ease the nerves a little. And I get that, but now you got fingerprints and your jizz on the dynamite, and next thing you know, CSI showing up to your house, fam. They got you. You're booked. Doing life now. It's a sad ending, and I've seen it happen far too many times. So don't go out there thinking I'm gonna bring in like 10 different guns. I'm gonna bring in like all my knives, all my cutlery. I'm gonna bring a sword. I'm gonna bring nunchucks. I'm gonna bring, you know, ninja stars. How many do I? You may need one ninja star. Okay, one. And you gotta get good at it, so you're not just wasting ninja. Because your fingerprints get on that shit. Next thing you know, CSI again at your door. So please, please. Do not take more than you need. Take only what you got and whatever is necessary. Just don't go out there thinking if I go in there with a backpack, if I go in with my own equipment and backpack, because I can put everything in the back, because you don't know how long you're gonna have to travel. You don't know. And if the canines are chasing you, I have seen too many canines grabbing the crotch of good men and women who were just doing a job. All right, canines, once they grab your crotchal area, once they grab that genital, I've seen ladies screaming, good women, good, hardworking, dedicated, filled with potential ladies. And they actually make the best. Some say some of the best, not the best, of course, because that's your boy right here, the world's most sought after contract killer, but because, you know, it's less expected. It's despite the fact that we're heading into 2025, still, it is one of those spaces where you think, oh, well, this is a man's job. I've seen chicks weighing 125, all tits, and all kill. But again, you go in there, you got to just keep it, go light, travel light. Do not, you know, and I get it. I have my favorite equipment too. Do I want to take everything with me? Yes, absolutely. I like to take my favorite equipment. Absolutely, I like to pack everything, but it's just gonna hold you down. It's gonna weigh you down. It's gonna have more ways to have people track you down. You want to just keep it simple, keep it minimalistic, and getting away is key. All right, you gotta get away. You can't just be lurking around, because some people like to do the job and they like to hang out to see how it ended, to get that last laugh, to just see the you know, investigation go on from a far distance, thinking that they're having next thing you know, helicopters, next thing you know, cameras, next thing you know, canine on your crotch, next thing you know, police officers, knock, they're next thing. So again, I've seen it happen way too many times. I'm just looking out for the folks who are getting started. Do not be one of those fools that thinks this is gonna be just like, oh, I'm gonna just waltz in there and do whatever I want and take all the equipment and leave a mess. God. Before we go any further, I'd like to say, I know this has been a lot, and again, if you are a contract killer out there as well, please do leave a comment. What do you like to do? What are your favorite habits? What have you learned? What are the mistakes you've made? Leave a comment. Name names. That being said, let me just take a moment because because nobody else does this for us. I like to take a moment and humanize myself and others like myself who are in this field just a little bit, because again, it's easy to like look at a fellow or a lady and be like, well, that guy is just, again, heart of ice. There's nothing in there. It doesn't have any, oh, it must be what, you know, I've heard the labels, I've seen it. Again, it's easy, but let me go through the simple things that connects us, that brings us closer, human to human. What do I like to do that's very much like it's everyday tasks that's very similar to your daily tasks? I like to have my breakfast. I like to drink my coffee. I like to read the paper. It's online papers these days, but I like to read the paper every once in a while. I like to, you know, a little bit of love in here and there. A little bit of love in here and there. Never hurt anyone, just like anybody. You gotta keep it again. You gotta keep a distance. You gotta keep that distance. I've seen people get emotional, get attached, build relationships, start spilling the beans, tell everybody what they're doing. Next thing you know, word gets out. Next thing you know, it's CSI shit once again. So you can't just open up all the way, but it's good to have relationships. It's good to just have a little bit of love it, but then pull it back. So these are the things that, you know, animals. I don't own any personally myself, just because it's a little bit, you know, it's hard to, because I travel a lot. overseas, here, there, private contracts, government contracts, little small tiny jobs, 24 to 36 hours, longer jobs that need me to stay somewhere for 7 to 10 days, maybe even longer. So I don't have any pets. Do I enjoy watching videos of pets? Absolutely. We're all human at the end of the day. Do I enjoy watching animals just be cute and cuddly? And do I want to just grab them and just be like, oh, you're so cute and cuddly, yeah. Do I want to? Yes, and I do. Do I want to be running in a field and be chased by a pack of dogs and just fall on the ground and have the dog get on top of me and start licking me, and I'm just like, oh, hey, you guys, you dogs are so cute. And do I do that? Sometimes, maybe, yes. Why? Because we're all human at the end of the day. Who doesn't want to get attacked by a pack of cute little dogs and just be licked all over? Exactly. That's what I thought. We're all the same. So the point is, don't judge a book by its cover. We're all people at the end of the day. And again, I do very similar to, I like to take scenic drives. I like to just take scenic drives. Sometimes, again, because I'm working even when I'm not working, do I ever take things personal? Do I take those scenic drives and then see certain things that make me want to use my abilities? I'm not gonna lie to you, there have been times, maybe recently your boy took a scenic drive, and it's something that I noticed in somebody else's car. And it wasn't so much to do, it didn't have anything to do with the way they were driving. It didn't have anything to do with the brand of the vehicle that they were driving. It was nothing personal. It was just to look, because I do like things to be, I'm not going to say I'm a neat freak. I'm not going to say, because I'm not a neat freak. I'm not going to say that I like things being organized. I do, but but there's just certain things that, I like things that are aligned. I like things that are, if it's meant to be a certain way, it's better for it to be that way. And did I see something that just may have provoked me to take my skills and my talents and, use it for a personal cause? This one time, yes. And again, those are just human instincts. This is not something, I'm not going to pretend like it hasn't happened. So yes, did I see somebody driving and they had their rear view mirror on tilt? You know what I'm talking about when you're driving? Because most normal human beings, when they're driving and then they're inside their vehicles, their rear view mirror is parallel to every other line that is inside the interior of the car. So if you look at them, their rear view mirror should just be going horizontally like so. And it's, again, parallel to every other line that's available in the car, and it's parallel to the ground, and it's parallel to all the buildings, and it's straight. But some people, and it doesn't happen too often. Did it happen last week? Did I use my abilities to take something that's just personally impacting me in the moment? Yes. Somebody's mirror was extremely on tilt. I'm talking just, we were talking about like a 45-degree angle, and it was driving me nuts, because I'm like, how do you drive with a tilted rear view mirror, you psycho, you son of a bitch? Everybody knows rear view mirrors are supposed to be parallel and straight. If you've got it on tilt, you're telling me that the road is parallel to the buildings, the people are parallel to the buildings, all the lines, all the electricity lines, they're all parallel. Give or take with a little bit of a room for margin of error, of course, but more or less, you see all these parallel lines, and all of a sudden, you see this son of a bitch just driving with his rear view mirror tilted maybe to like 45 degree, and you're wondering to yourself, how could this person be driving with a rear view mirror that's tilted to the side with a 45-degree angle? Are you driving with your neck like this the entire time, you psycho? Do you have some sort of condition where are you seeing everything on a 45-degree angle? What are you seeing? I like to see what you're seeing is the question that I asked myself, but then he pulled up and I pulled up, and I just had to take it into my own hands, and I ended it right there, and it frustrated me for a second, but then I realized, you know what's one more to the many, just add it to the list now. well beyond a million, well beyond a million, the world's most sought after contract killer. Of course, that was a lot, I'm not gonna lie, that was a little bit unprofessional from me. I acted in the moment, I shouldn't have, but I think, despite the fact that there wasn't a request from anybody, I think there are moments where you know you're just helping your fellow human beings, fellow team members out there, and I just took it into my own hands and I finished it. I finished it right there, because how could this son of a bitch be driving around with a tilt on his rear view mirror? You psychotic son of a bitch, you don't belong on the streets. And I took care of it. So yeah, regrets, I didn't get paid for it. Personally, did I feel good about it? 100%. Fix that fucking mirror. That's, drive with a straight up parallel mirror. What is wrong with you? Unless they had some sort of condition, which I didn't, give them a chance, because it was just like, because that's the sort of thing that just, leaks and drips into their life. You can see everything else in their life being on tilt. How dare you? But that's just, again, yes, a little bit unprofessional, but nobody's perfect, all right? Nobody's perfect, but we're talking surplus of 1 million jobs that have only been satisfactory and extremely good for everybody. It's been a trip. It's only growing. We're only growing. It's getting better and better. I'll say this. One of the many mistakes that I see people making in this line of work is going out there and talking about the task that they do, the jobs that they've done, right? People who retire, people who have, they've been in the private sector, maybe they work with governments, plural, who knows? But then they go out there and they start spilling and they start talking about it, and it's amateur shit. That's the stuff that just gets me. I'm like, there needs to be a little bit of respect for the line of work that you do. A little bit, we do this, but you do need to keep certain things close to the vest. You do need to keep certain things. There's a little bit of honor. There's a little bit of, do you care for what you do, or is this just because there's, people who are passionate about what they do. It gets me going. People who are just out there I'm going to just publish a book and tell about my many adventures that I had it's a little bit, we don't need that sort of advertising. We don't need that this line of work needs to stay on the DL. This line of work needs to, the biggest thing our clients are seeking out there is discretion. If you have loose lips, if you are the type that goes advertising, that shows up to shows, that shows up to, that wants to get a book deal, that wants to get a movie deal, that wants to, I want to put out a bestseller, I want to, that gets people, I want to be in so-and-so song, I want to get it's like, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. This is the line of work that doesn't need any we don't need to bring any attention to it. This line of work, despite the fact that many people don't want to be talking about it, is one of those things that, again, it's a void, it's a vacuum that needs to be filled with certain individuals like myself. And again, we can't have people going around just yip-yapping, just talking about just giving away trade secrets here and just writing books and talking about how they turned a page and decided to work with authorities all of a sudden. It's like, no, you decide, you draw the line, you decide. And you do work with, again, I've said this, you work in the private sector, you work with governments, but let's not kid ourselves. We know what we're doing. This is not, again, we're talking professionals only. I'm not talking about some amateur shit. You can't just go around and be like, oh, if I just do a couple of hits, do a little bit of time, write a book, I'm set for that. That's puss shit. There's no honor in that. There's no, you're not doing it for the love of the game. Then you're just doing it for the book deal, and you just do it for the publicity, going on every show talking about how you're a big time, contract killer. Yeah, that's just not what we do. Discretion is key. Leaving no trace, no sort of evidence behind. Doing clean work is key. You never ever want to leave behind any sort of evidence that might be either traced back to yourself or anybody else who was somehow connected to the job, okay? I've seen far too many people just be all like, just willy-nilly, just walking around with like hammers and chainsaws and just splattering all sorts of bodily fluids all over the place, and then showing up and just as if nothing has happened, just pretending like it's just annoying. And you're being clumsy, you're being foolish, and you're not doing clean work. I just don't like it when people don't do clean work. That's one of my pet peeves. That's one of the biggest. Again, discretion is key. How you gonna go around with blood dripping everywhere and not have people ask questions? How you gonna do that? How's that gonna, and what does that do? It just brings more attention. It brings more eyes and ears, which we don't need, which the people who hired you don't need. And it brings more focus on things that should not be focused on, things that should just be forgotten, things that should just be seen as accidents. One of our favorite words in the business, accidents. What happened to that 45-year-old male who may or may not have worked in an embassy, who may or may not have worked in a coffee shop, who may or may not, and it could be anybody, who may or may not have had, drywall business. I don't know what it was. An accident. It was a drywall accident. Simple. Okay, you can't just be walking around doing sloppy work. I hate sloppy work. I can't stand it. I've seen people just walking around with like traces all over, just dripping all over the place, splattered all over the place, and they walk out, and it's just like, are you trying to get caught? Are you trying to? The biggest thing is discretion. Stay offline. I don't want to see people going online talking about this. I just wanna say that certain things need to be, again, held close to the vest. Certain thing, there needs to be some sort of, back in the day, there used to be some sort of code, some sort of trust, some sort of system that we all knew what we were getting ourselves into, and you don't go talking about it, and you do clean work, clean up after yourself. Don't go just advertising it everywhere. Hey, anybody want a contract killer? This guy right here, this gal right here. I've seen it far too many times. It just ruins the game for everybody else. Ruins the game for whoever's trying to do it right. Doesn't leave a good taste in anybody's mouth. And that's what I don't want to see anymore. No more people showing up on podcasts. No more people getting series from Hulu and Netflix and making a 6-part series about contract. It's just, it ruins it. It ruins it, and there's nothing left to the imagination, and it's just unprofessional at the end of the day. I have never, ever in my life ever believed in doing messy work and leaving traces behind and not cleaning up after myself. I've seen people that just walk in there, do the work, and not clean up after themselves, and then you wonder why you hear that knock 6 months down the line on your front door and you got SWAT outside. I wonder why. I wonder why. You sloppy son of a bitch. You sloppy son of a bitch. It just gets me, and again, discrepancy, and forget about yourself, because we knew what we were getting ourselves into. My biggest thing is the clients are good people. These are good, hard working people, everyday folk from all walks of life. A fella who owns a car wash, electronic, mechanical car wash, a lady who owns a car wash, using her tits to wash these cars, one tit at a time, who's got beef with the other car wash lady who also happens to wash cars with her juicy, milky tits. And I gotta take care, but again, it's just, don't do sloppy work. And again, remember that these people, whoever gets your business, they're working hard for their money like everybody else. So don't go doing messy work, leaving traces behind, making a splash, just making a scene, and just telling all your work details to every Tom, Dick, and Jerry, whoever's out there, just telling everybody what it is that you do. It's not cool, man. It's not cool. Clean up after yourself. It's very important to clean up after yourself. Leave nothing behind. Whatever you gotta use, bleach. I sleep in bleach. The 5-minute nap, that is. Whenever I'm sleeping for 5, I just take a whole bottle of bleach. I pour it all over. I douse myself in. I'm doused in bleach right now. That's the crazy thing. A lot of people don't clean up. Worst mistake of their lives. How have I avoided leaving fingerprints behind? Sometimes I like to use people's own, their own hands to do the deed. That's why you'll never find my fingerprints. You'll never find my finger, because I will chop a hand off and I will grab the gat that I'm using and I will clutch the gat with their chopped off hand, and I'll pull the trigger with their fingers. And I'll just chuck the hand and chuck the gun right there. Of course, I could have just easily taken the gun with me, but I like to just to confuse the whole procedure of investigation. I just chuck a hand, but also chuck a knife that's grabbed chuck the knife that's been grabbed by their own hand that's been cut off. I will before doing the job, I like to jerk them off. I like to finger, get the juices out. Once the job is finished, splatter their own DNA all over the place, and to make it a little bit more confusing, who did it? Just seems like we only found one DNA sample, and it seems to be this person's, and it's their own doing. A lot of the jobs that I do, it's seen as if they did it to themselves, because again, it's not traced back to anybody. Sometimes, yes. Do I get extra jizz and extra vaginal juice on my way to work sometimes when I'm not working, which always I'm working? Yes. Because you can never know when you just want to just dispense a little bit of just random semen in the mix, random vaginal fluid in the mix. People just, the ladies, vaginal juices, I like to get the blood clots in the tampons and Tampax, just splash it a little bit here, splash it a little bit, just like holy water for my work, but it's vaginal juice all over the place. Whose vaginal juices seems to be somewhere, and they'll get a DNA test, and they'll do it, and then the next thing you know, some rando is getting a knock on their door. Why did we find your blood clot, Lucy, on Miss Nancy's body? Why? Because and there you go. Confusion is the name of the game. Never lead anything back to yourself. Don't leave any clean work. That's one of the biggest things. Again, discretion. I cannot emphasize this enough, because I hate to see people getting caught just being clumsy, sloppy, messy, thinking that they're too slick, thinking that they're too quick. There are cameras everywhere right now. There are satellites up in the sky tracking your every move, phones that are listening to everything. So do not be thinking that you're too smart, you're gonna get around. You'll get got. It's just do clean work. It's very simple. Do clean work. That's all I gotta say, ladies and gentlemen. And again, if you think that this is the line of work for you, do try it out little by little. Start by freelancing. You'd want word of mouth to carry around for itself, and do good work so that people know you by reputation. Do not advertise. I don't want to see people going again. Please refrain from going online, refrain from going and advertising or talking to anybody about this. Outside of that, if you happen to be a contract killer and you're watching, leave a comment, write about the specifics of your job, write about the difficulties that you faced, write about the challenges, the things that you've learned, write about the fun little things, the little things that you learned in coming up in the game, if you will. Write about that. And again, but this is a safe space, and I just want us to all just feel like, you know what, we're all in it together, and we're taking it one day at a time, and that's all that matters. Find what you're good at, essentially. And this is not for everybody. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not for everybody. All right. Just want to leave everybody, because I gotta go now. And I got 3 more to take care of today. But again, that's just between you, me, and our little family. I got 3 more people to take care of today, and it's gonna be good. I'm gonna be eating good tonight. So I'll see y'all very soon. Get out of here.